moment there, Android. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Jumbled Thoughts. It's going to be a new discussion to show I'm going to be having here on YouTube. I did have an episode kind of like this about a year, almost two ago, discussing the assassination of Osama bin Laden. However, that wasn't really part of it. It was just me just getting it off my chest. Today, however, is going to be the official pilot episode of Jumbled Thoughts. Let's get to it. So, as you could see from the awesome logo on my phone, and from the t-shirt that I'm wearing, I'm going to be talking about the most talked about news from San Diego Comic-Con this year. For those of you who don't know, let me give you some backstory. At San Diego Comic-Con at the Warner Brothers panel, at the end of the panel, Zack Snyder surprisingly came on to the panel and said, "I'd like to announce exactly what we're doing for this next movie. I thank your support for Man of Steel. Here's a clue as to what we're going to be doing for our next film." Now, we aren't going to be developing this material from the comics, but it will be somewhat of an inspiration to us. And then he has Henry Lennox, whatever the guy's name is. He was General Swanwick in Man of Steel. Come up and read a quote from The Dark Knight Rises, The Dark Knight Returns. The quote is essentially says, "I want you to remember this moment, Clark. I want you, in all of your private moments, to remember my hand at your throat. I want you to remember the one man that beat you." And a lot of comic book nerds who actually knew where that came from were like, "Oh!" And then the lights just go out. They come back on. Zack Snyder and Henry Lennox just disappeared. And on the walls of Hall H, being projected, was this image. And everyone just lost their minds. Now, I wasn't at Comic-Con. And about a few hours after this was announced, I saw this symbol online and I was like, yeah, that's kind of cool looking symbol. That's good fan art. And then I go on to Facebook, and Twitter, and YouTube, and comicbookmovies.com, and they tell me that this is all real, that this movie is actually happening. Needless to say, I had to change my pants. Oh my god, it was awesome! This movie has the potential to be great. However, here's the thing. However, we don't know much about it. Hell, the people who are making it don't know much about it. What we do know is that a lot of the cast from the Man of Steel is coming back for the sequel. Henry Cavill as Superman, Amy Adams as Lois Lane, Diane Lane as Martha Kent, Perry White being played by Morpheus. I mean Lawrence Fishburne. Sorry, but yeah, all that cast is coming back. Plus, I'm sure we're going to get some newcomers, and of course, we're going to get a new Batman. A new Batman. Okay, I know what you're thinking right now. Is it going to be Christian Bale? Is it going to be Christian Bale? No, it's not. He's done with it. As far as we know, he's done professionally with that role. That's my... You get it? It's referencing his little breakdown on Terminator Salvation, whatever. But yeah, he's done with that role, because he doesn't want to be remembered that way. It's just being Batman. Guess what, dude? Too late. But anyways, we're probably going to get a new Batman unless Christopher Nolan begs Christian Bale to come back. But I don't think that's going to happen. We're probably going to get a new Batman. And this story could go anywhere right now, because they're still writing it. This is still in the draft stages right now. So today, on the pilot episode of Jumbled Thoughts, I'm going to be discussing just about everything for this movie. Potential candidates for The Dark Knight, where this story could be going, who I want to see in it, all of this stuff. And I also want to give Zack Snyder, David S. Goyer, Christian Nolan, everyone who's a part of this, I want to give them a few pointers to show them exactly what the fans want from this. Alright. Got your attention now? Let's continue. First of all, I'd like to say, I love The Man of Steel. I watched it 3 times in theaters. And it was great. I loved it, honestly. It's probably one of the better superhero films out there. And I've watched The Avengers 10 times. It's that good, okay? Now, yes, it did have a few faults, but we'll get to those later. And okay, right up front, right now, anyone who has not seen the Man of Steel, spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Panic! If you haven't seen the Man of Steel, get out now! Unless you don't care about spoilers, or you've already seen the Man of Steel, in which case, welcome. Okay, now, first of all, yeah, like I said, we don't know who the next Batman's going to be. They probably don't know either, although they do have a few candidates. And probably Christian Bale isn't going to be coming back. Which honestly, it's a good thing, because I don't know if he'll ever get past cancer voice. I'm Bruce Wayne, I'm Batman, Bruce Wayne, I'm Batman. That hurt me, my throat, just saying that. Hold on a second. Woo! Okay. Sorry. But anyways. We're probably going to get a new Batman, but we don't know exactly who it's going to be. And I have never seen this much fan casting for a superhero or any kind of developed material ever. They're starting like a March Madness brackets ring right now. It's insane. There's people, they're throwing out all kinds of names out there. They've got like John Hamm, Liev Schreiber, Liam Hemsworth. Let's forget I mentioned that last one ever. Charles Hunnam, who was in Pacific Rim. I love that movie, by the way. Matt Bomer, Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling, am I reading this right? Ryan Gosling? No. Okay. Some are ridiculous. Let's get that out there right now. Good actors, but are just ridiculous. First of all, some that a lot of people like, John Hamm. Honestly, I see where you're going with that. It's not a bad idea. He's a good actor on Mad Men, but and he has kind of that authority-like look to him. He looks kind of dark, and honestly, you put a cowl on him, I believe he's Batman. But here's the thing: good actor, he's got the looks. Thing is, this movie's coming out in 2 years. Justice League 2 years after that. And then probably in the next 3 to 5 years after that, we're going to start getting new Batman films. At that point, well, John Hamm is like in his mid to late 40s. I don't know his exact age. But he's going to start showing his age by that time. And we don't want to get like a Batman Returns old, Dark Knight Returns old kind of Batman by the time we get to like his first solo movie. I'm sorry, but that's a bad idea. I think we should get someone kind of younger. Anyone who's like in their late 20s through their 30s to maybe early 40s. But that early 40s one, I honestly would disagree with that. So I think go with someone who's younger. It's a really good idea. And there are a few names, like I said. Charlie Hunnam, who was in Pacific Rim. Great movie. Great actor. And I could probably see him doing it, but who knows? Matt Bomer, not a bad idea. Handsome guy, looks like he already rocks a power suit all the time. He'd have to beef up and kind of work on getting his voice a little deeper. He did a great job as Superman in Superman Unbound. He was voicing him, as it was an animated feature, of course. And also, he looks kind of too much like Henry Cavill. You get those two on screen together, it's just going to be insane. And, okay, one person that immediately got my vote as soon as I heard about Batman, new Batman coming, was Jensen Ackles from Supernatural. Yeah, Dean Winchester as your new Batman. Now, stop commenting right now. Stop commenting. I can feel you. I can see you doing it. Stop it. Okay, now can you let me explain why I chose him? First of all, he's a great actor. If you have never seen Supernatural, you don't know. But you've got to watch just at least 3 episodes of this thing. Any 3 random episodes that has him in it. He's really, really good at being Dean Winchester, who's kind of a cocky but dark kind of guy. And I believe in his acting abilities. Plus, he has like this kind of deep, grumbling voice, which happens when you grow up in Texas, apparently. Like, you immediately get like the voice of God. But anyways, I believe in his acting abilities. That's a few, and he's got the right voice for it. However, there are a few minuses. First off, people think that he doesn't have quite that mature authority feel to him. And I understand that. Because Dean Winchester is nothing but a joker. And honestly, all of his other roles have been nothing but cocky kind of guys. Hell, he voiced the Red Hood in Under the Red Hood, another animated movie that had Batman in it. Very good again. But yeah, I think his acting abilities could allow him to get past that. He could get past cocky teenage kind of guy, and he could probably pull off very authoritative guy who runs Wayne Enterprises and is also one of the world's greatest detectives. I have faith his acting abilities could pull that off. Another thing, he might have to work on his looks right now. Like, honestly, you look at that guy, very, very handsome. That's coming from a 100% straight dude, okay? He's got the looks, but the thing is, he should probably fix his hair. He's got like kind of the blonde frohawk thing going on right now. It works for Dean Winchester, but for Batman, nobody's going to take that seriously. Dye it black, and then redesign it so it's kind of combed back, and look very, very rich, very rich looking. So yeah, you got to work on that. Plus, you might have to beef up just a little bit. I'm not saying go on super Captain America Chuck North diet. No, don't do that. He's already beefing up. He's 6'1". His arms are like really, really thick with muscle. He's already in good shape. Just need to get up just a little more to get like the Batman-esque physique. And this also helps because then you don't have to get rubber suits with nipples. I just had memories of Batman and Robin. Help me! Okay, now that those memories are gone, let's continue. He's a good actor. He probably just needs to change up his looks, and he just needs to work on being more authoritative. But I'm not saying get rid of his cocky attitude, because Batman does occasionally, in like the comics and in comic books, throw out kind of bits of like sarcasm and maybe like a small wisecrack here and there. But that's not his entire shtick. He's not kind of like Spider-Man where he's in the middle of a battle just dropping wisecracks. No, he throws out sarcasm. He throws out stuff that kind of makes you laugh or chuckle. And I think you should keep that. And I think Jensen actually should keep that. Definitely. Now that you have my vote for the actor, let's go on to the plot. First of all, they said that this is a Man of Steel sequel. Man of Steel, they can call it Man of Steel 2, they can call it anything. But essentially, this is a sequel to Man of Steel, which means the main character in it has to be Superman. It has to be this guy right here. It has to be Superman. I know throwing Batman's logo onto anything will immediately make it $1 billion nowadays. And that's honestly a good idea, especially with Marvel coming out with these movies where there's crossovers happening all the time, especially now thanks to the Avengers. They're like, oh crap, we need to catch up. So this is their way of catching up. This is them going 2 steps immediately in one film. Not a bad idea, but the thing is, again, it's a Superman sequel. Make Superman the main character. It has to be about his character development, what he's been doing since the events of Man of Steel, how he's doing, and how he's doing as a superhero. It has to be about Kal-El. It has to be about Clark Kent. It has to be about Superman. Batman is a side character. He's a supporting character. Throwing him in there, yes, it'll make things awesome. But don't make him the center of the spotlight for the whole thing. It's a bad idea. It could ruin it that easily. I mean, it might happen anyways, but I just don't want it to happen. And secondly, a lot of people want Lex Luthor to be a part of this, and honestly, I think they should, because we saw a few like I said, spoilers, we saw a few mentions of him in Man of Steel. We saw LexCorp on one building, we saw it on like a construction yard that Superman and Zod fought inside. We saw it on a tanker truck that Zod threw at Kal-El. We saw it on a tractor trailer that Superman, or the Kal-El, or Clark Kent hitched a ride on in order to get back to his farmhouse in Kansas. Great. And they said he's not going to show up in this one. We were expecting him to, but he didn't. I'm saying throw him in this new one. For those of you who didn't watch The Man of Steel but don't care about spoilers, Metropolis really got screwed in that movie. Like 30 city blocks were just knocked over, reduced to rubble like that, because Superman and Zod were fighting in it. Not to mention there was the world engine thing that was already crushing about, a mile radius of the city. But yeah, it really got screwed. So they're going to need to reconstruct all the damage that was done by the new superhero. People are kind of wondering exactly why he's the superhero now, but okay, let's stick with that. Stick with that. So why not Lex Luthor come out and be like, hey, I've got the money, I've got the resources, I've got all the equipment, I can rebuild all of the city that was destroyed in the battle done by this alien. And I can do it very quickly. And he realizes, and honestly, in the comics, Lex Luthor has built and owns like half of Metropolis. There's not much that he doesn't own in Metropolis. So, yeah, him coming back to reconstruct the city, good idea. But if you're going to include Batman in here, don't just have Batman, have Bruce Wayne come in. Because let's face it, the damage done, estimately, in that city was $470 billion worth of damages. That's more than Baldhead can handle, okay? So I have Lex Luthor and Bruce Wayne both show up, do like a jointly funded reconstruction project for Metropolis. And Bruce Wayne comes in not just to look over the project, but also because he sees this new super being that's shown up, and he's like, who is this guy? What are his motives? All this stuff. He kind of wonders about it, and Batman being a detective, he has to figure out exactly who he is, why he's here, all that stuff. Batman is a naturally cautious character. Sorry, I gotta switch the camera. Batman is a naturally cautious character. Shut up. Well, yes. Shit. Sorry. I just lost my train of thought. Hold on. Found it. Okay. Yes. Have both Bruce Wayne and Batman show up in this. Not just have it like in a few comics where it's Batman, but that you never saw was Bruce Wayne. We need to see that happen at some point. Another thing we need to see in this, clash between Superman and Batman. And we know that's going to happen, because supposedly some of the working titles for this movie are like Superman versus Batman, Batman versus Superman, that kind of thing. Now, I don't really agree with this title, because honestly, you do that, it's implying that the whole movie is just going to be them just duking out. No, you don't want to do that. If I want to see these guys duking it out for 3.5 hours, I'll just go play Injustice with my friends over and over and over and over again. Bad idea. I want a title that says that yes, having conflict between them, a definite must, because it's going to happen. They don't start off as the best of friends, and honestly, they have to earn each other's trust. Having them fight, great idea at first, but don't have it be the plot of the whole movie. They have to eventually team up against a greater evil, which is probably going to be Lex Luthor. And if they do fight, I want to see, and a lot of fanboys are going to get mad at me for this, but I want to see Batman defeat Superman in that first fight. Yeah, because if you do that, there's a good reason to. Because in character development wise, it will make Superman kind of doubt exactly how powerful he is, kind of doubt it himself, exactly wonder, how did he defeat me? How did he do that? Batman, he can do it. I'm sure of it. You give Batman enough time to observe someone for long enough, he knows how to defeat them from every angle. And plus, if you haven't seen Man of Steel, you know that the world... I'm sorry, but I gotta tell you this. The world engine, which is like a terraforming thing, actually starts to turn a bit of the area around the South Indian Ocean into Krypton with its minerals and stuff like that. Now, and we saw Superman get weak around that stuff. And for some reason there were hentai tentacles, but let's forget that. So those are those minerals, and supposedly if you look, I'm sure that if you actually go to those and bring them to Superman, they would probably make him weak again, because essentially it's just him being back on Krypton, being back to a human being, or at least what it is to be human over here, essentially. So Batman could get a hold of that. How? Well, he has a network of satellites, which we saw one of get completely screwed over by Kal-El and Zod in the movie, that had the Wayne Tech logo on the side, which is really cool, I'm not gonna lie. So he probably has a network of satellites, one that was looking at, the South Indian Ocean, one that was definitely looking over Metropolis, one that was looking over the South Indian Ocean, saw how Superman got weak. So Batman goes down, observes those minerals, sees how he can use those against this potentially dangerous being. And also, we saw kryptonite. We saw a form of kryptonite, kind of. Not just those minerals made by the World Engine, but also when Krypton got destroyed. Come on, we know that when Krypton exploded, all of its pieces got irradiated that turned them into kryptonite. So basically, yeah, that happened. Come on, that's far away from the Earth, but let's face it, some of those minerals could drift to Earth, make them into meteorites. People can collect them and stuff like that. Find a way to bring that in, because that'll make a lot of fanboys happy. And if you have Batman use it as a weapon against Superman, so he can use it to defeat him, that would be even cooler. Now, another thing about the plot is, I think that they should take a few cues from the Batman Superman animated movie that happened back in 1997, which coincidentally was also split into a 3-parter story arc on Superman the Animated Series, called World's Finest. That's what this movie should be called, World's Finest, but I'll get to that later. It should be called World's Finest. That's what the story arc was called, Superman and Batman meeting up in Metropolis. And from what I've heard, they might be taking a few cues from that. I mean, they're probably going to have Lex Luthor come in. Who's going to play him? John Hamm. Forget him as Batman, shave him bald, you got your Lex Luthor. Okay. Supposedly also a new Joker's going to be coming in. People are like, oh, it's just... Okay, come on. Heath Ledger died, what was that? 5 years ago? I miss him too. But I think it's time that we moved on. We know he's there, and we should honor him, but it's time we got a new Joker on the scene. So yeah, that would be a good idea. And we saw that in the cartoon. How could Joker be incorporated into all this? Well, the city is, kind of weakened after Superman, and maybe he could come in and start to take over, start to spread out his criminal empire over the weakened underworld of Metropolis. Maybe. We'll see. But like I said, they should take some cues from this. Definitely. Both on how Superman and Batman have some conflict, but they should add on to it, because there wasn't much of a fight in between those two. But also how they eventually will earn each other's trust to a degree, and they work together against a common evil, which is probably going to be Lex Luthor and maybe Joker. Thank you. But yeah, that's definitely what they should do for this plot. Another thing, please, you need to make Superman less dark and depressing. That's Batman's thing, okay? Batman's shtick is to be all dark and brooding, like, my parents are dead and stuff like that. You need to have that happen for Batman. For Superman, however, Superman is not that. Superman, look at this. It's like bright colors. This is a symbol for hope. This is hope. And hope does not come from dark, depressing colors. You need something that's bright. You need something that's cheerful. We didn't see much cheerfulness from Superman. We saw respectability. We saw him as a very nice guy in that, but he wasn't very cheerful except for the first time when he was flying in Man of Steel. You need to make him this light-hearted symbol of hope kind of guy. You need to have him like be joking sometimes, because that's what he is in the comics. That's what he was in the Superman animated series. He was dropping a few jokes every now and then. He has a sense of humor, not like Superman, not like Spider-Man, where he's like in the middle of a fight, he's always just making fun of the villains or whatnot. Nah, don't do that. Just have him make him have a sense of humor. We saw a tiny bit of that when he was talking to General Swanwick at the end of Man of Steel, but not much after that. You need to make him cheerful. Because honestly, not only is that where he's from, he has to be a symbol of hope, but also the chemistry between these two is based upon that. They're opposites. They come from different ends of the spectrum, but in the end, opposites attract. Think about it. It's kind of like a buddy cop film. Superman's kind of like the light-hearted, joking, kind of good cop, always being kind of, hey, what's up? We're just dropping a joke every so often, but we'll still get the job done. And then Batman is like the super serious tactician detective who's always got everything thought out. He's just sitting there, but in the back, straight face, ready to beat your ass down. But these guys have such different chemistry that's it is like a buddy cop film. Bring them together. They work so well together. Every time I watch it in the cartoons or I read it in a comic book, it's so good because they're friends, but they're from different, but not really. They're from different ends of the spectrums, but they work together so well. People who think the mythos of these two characters are so different that they would never work together, you obviously have not read any other comic books or seen any of the cartoon shows. It works too well. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. You gotta, okay, make this guy less depressing. That's Batman's thing. Go ahead, make him dark. Make him dress all in black. It's sometimes a very dark gray. Lego movie trailer reference. Haha. Anyways, you gotta work on that. You gotta see what you messed up on in Man of Steel, and then improve on that for this new sequel. It's a Man of Steel sequel. Make it about him. Bring in Bruce, bring in Batman, but don't have him do like the whole origins thing. We already saw that several times. We know it's there. Maybe have it in small flashback sequences that were kind of like what were in the Joel Schumacher film, but better than that, honestly. Have him kind of like that, but better. We don't need to see him get trained and have his parents shot all over again. We know who he is, and if he shouldn't be like the super experienced Batman that we all know and love. He should be kind of like a Batman Year One or Batman Arkham Origins kind of Batman. He's been Batman for about 2-3 years. He knows how to be kind of a kick-ass dude, and he has some experience, but it's not like he has like the godlike intellect that we all know about. He's still working his way there. We should make him young because Superman is kind of young too, relatively. So make them both young, make them both kind of fledgling superheroes, so eventually that does work out well too. We don't need like a veteran Batman going against a young Superman. I could see how that works, but it's not a good idea. Make them both fledgling superheroes so that they have some kind of common ground together. So is that everything I want to talk about? I think so. So yeah, that's my thoughts on what this new Superman Batman movie should call, which I really, really, really hope is going to be called World's Finest. Not Batman vs. Superman, Superman vs. Batman, no. I want it to be called World's Finest. World's Finest Superhero, something like that. Just like the old comic book was called. It was called World's Finest. Should be called that. It honestly makes a bit more sense. Keep together and keep in mind all thoughts I have. I'm not saying make Jensen Ackles Batman. It would be a good idea, but keep him as a candidate. But still look around. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Brain fart. Hold on. Yeah. Make the movie about Superman. Make him cheerful. Make him bright, make him a real symbol of hope, not all dark and brooding like Batman is. That's Batman's thing. But yeah, everything I've said, if David Goyer, Zack Snyder, and Christopher Nolan are watching this, please heed the words, because I'm not talking just from my own opinion, but also from the opinion of the fan base as much as possible. This is what they want to. So, what do you think? Did I miss anything? No, I don't think so. So, yeah. That's it. This has been the pilot episode for Jumbled Thoughts, my new discussion show here on YouTube. I don't really have a schedule for it. I don't even know if this first episode will do well because I don't have that many subscribers. But who knows? If this does well, I'll do it again on something else. So in the comments below, and also on Facebook and Twitter, I'll get you those links in the description. You can start discussions with me about this if you'd like. What you think about it, where it should go. Start to argue with me. I'd like to argue my points. I'd also like to see some more points on things. Maybe I did something wrong. I want to hear some discussion from this. And also, if you like this, I will do more. If you liked Jumbled Thoughts, I will do more. Honestly, I'm on a low budget right now. I'm doing this with not very much right now, so don't expect it to get way better anytime soon. But still, if you like these discussions, let me know. Let me know what I should talk about next, and I'll see if I could do that. So, yeah. For now. So, yeah. This has been Jumbled Thoughts. My name is Evan Davis. If you wouldn't mind subscribing, yeah, press that subscribe button. Hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. I would greatly appreciate it. Hell, I'm on Vine too. Hit me up there. Just look for me, alright? But yeah, hey. My name is Evan Davis. And I'm still working on a catchphrase for this show, so remember, you can learn. Here, how about this? The meek shall inherit the earth, but the geeks have already ruled it. Peace out, everybody. I gotta go save the world.